My name's Konrad and I work for Midland Seed as a field consultant. Well, basically my role is to help supervise or manage the crop with the farmer, provide him with advice on how to grow the crop successfully right through from drilling the seed through to the harvesting of the crop. We've been doing this for, I suppose, 8-9 years. We initially started with just a few paddocks, a few small hectares, a bit of a trial and error, seeing what varieties grow well in Tasmania, and then we progressed to several paddocks up to a few hundred hectares, and now we're just basically producing as required for our customers. The variety we grow here is CRS1, so it is a seed type. There are taller types which can grow 6, 7, 8 feet tall, but this variety is it's a nice short type, easy to harvest, so we don't have a lot of material going through the harvester. This variety too, CRS, you would have noticed we've got female and male plants. The male plants provide the pollen for the female, and it's the female plants that we harvest. So the male plants will just die off. It's quite manageable to grow the crop, but in comparison to other crops, it's like a thoroughbred racehorse. Cereals take a long time to grow, whereas hemp, you're looking at about a 100-day crop. So you've got to have everything right from day one. So from the start, you need to make sure you have a nice clean seed bed, free of weeds. Make sure your pH is right, your soil fertility is good. Make sure that the ground is also free of any potential pests, because in the past we have had to re-drill paddocks because the insects got into the seed, and obviously nothing come up. The other thing too with the seed, make sure you have good quality seed, because poor seed has poor germination, and therefore you won't have a crop. It's not as water hungry as vegetable crops, say compared to potatoes, but we still do need some irrigation. Figures have been around 3 meg per hectare. The hemp does have a reasonable taproot, but you will finding that you need to irrigate a lot rather than a little bit and often. Because it's got such a long taproot, you've got to make sure the moisture gets down below under the ground. Growing hemp is similar to growing any other crop on the farm. We still need to control the weeds, still need to control the pests. With hemp though, because it's such a fast growing plant, we do apply a herbicide very early on the piece while the weeds are small and while the hemp's coming through. But the beauty of hemp is that once it gets tall, it creates a canopy and smothers out a lot of any new emerging weeds. So very little input is required in comparison to other crops. So the products that we've used on industrial hemp crops are perfectly safe, they've been tested, and there's no chemical residue on the seed. When you look at the genetics of hemp, it's actually based in Europe, and we're in the same latitude as other countries that are growing hemp. So for seed production, Tasmania is well suited for it, especially because it's not too hot. We don't get that big flush of growth. We get this nice mild climate to produce these nice even seed heads. Hemp will grow in a variety of soils. We've grown it throughout the state, right to the northwest, right down to the south. So it will grow in a variety of soils. It's just managing the conditions for the crop. It's created a lot of infrastructure. There was very little knowledge about how to grow, how to handle, how to process hemp. I suppose when you look at it over the years, we now have people who are willing to harvest it, willing to process it, willing to dry it, and willing to grow it. So it has emerged as an industry. It has provided growers another option to grow, especially if the seasonal conditions have been very difficult throughout the year. Hemp's often the last crop to go in the ground and provides another option for the growers. And for me, it just keeps me even busier longer in the season. There's new varieties out there. There are more products out there people are willing to use to grow a better crop. And there's also the other aspects of industrial hemp where people are looking at using the stubble and the fibre to use in other industrial processes. So yeah, hemp's got a good future.